Ontario has been challenging the federal carbon tax in court this week. And yesterday, it got some support from another province. A lawyer for Saskatchewan accused Ottawa of playing Big Brother with the new law. Saskatchewan, which is waiting for its own appeal court decision, contends it's no coincidence the tax only applies in 4 provinces with Conservative governments. Meanwhile, Ottawa continues to push that pollution is a national concern, bringing up that global warming will impact the Indigenous communities' right to fish and hunt. This is where we're bringing Danielle Smith from Global News Radio 770 CHQR to continue this conversation. What are you talking about surrounding this on your show today, Danielle?
Well, it appears like the federal government is putting forward a pretty weak case. Part of what came out in the hearings is that Ontario has already made great strides towards getting to its Paris Accord targets. The target was to get to 25% below 2005 levels by 2030, and they're at 22%. And so their argument, which has been their argument all along, is that there are other ways to reach the target, and that the federal tax is punitive, and it's also falling disproportionately on different parts of the country because it doesn't apply to every citizen. And so it strikes me that by coming back with, but, oh my gosh, we've got more wildfires and more flooding is a pretty weak argument, because you then have to ask the question, okay, well, if you put this carbon tax in place, are we going to stop flooding? Are we going to stop forest fires? So the argument around peace, order, and good government, which is what the federal government appears to be putting forward, that they're getting some pretty pointed questions from the judges overseeing the hearing. And now, of course, you've got Jason Kenney, who's added to the mix. Yesterday in his press conference, he said that it will be his first act to pass the Carbon Tax Repeal Act. And I'm kind of interested in seeing what also flows from that, is what is going to be the Alberta strategy to address greenhouse gas emissions, because we're going very much down the same track, phasing out coal-fired electricity in favor of natural gas, which is one of the big ways in which Ontario has managed to reach its goal. So we're going to talk today with a representative from the Ontario Taxpayers Federation who's following this case. What I'm sort of perplexed by is that the federal government could have very easily just decided that they were going to increase their their fuel tax, call it, make the excuse that it was because of a carbon tax, and apply it across the entire country, and probably avoided this litigation altogether. So the strategy of the federal government is very perplexing. And for the first time, I'm beginning to think that they might actually lose this case.
We have to leave it there for today, Danielle. Have a good show. It
Thanks,
starts at 9:30 on 770 CHQR.